Auction time. This is the 5S series auction. 5S01. This is what we used to call back in the days of the forums when they were still young and innocent. We used to call these sloth slayers. But I think it's a variation of the Wells point from Texas, East Texas. I'm not sure. I didn't look it up. I'm just going by memory. I just wanted to do something with serrations. Okay? So it's translucent chert, Texas chert. I think it is raw. But I don't know these days. Well, from the days where I was heat treating some of this stuff, I don't know the difference whether it's raw or heat treat. I'm getting into my old batches of rock. Okay? So I don't know. I think it's raw, but it could be heat treat. All right. It's 3 15/16, almost 4 inches long. Okay. So there you go. This is kind of a fun point to make. Yeah, they call them, well, some people call them sloth slayers. It's just a nickname. I'm not even sure if this is the correct shape for those. The stem is probably a little bit long, but I like the way it turned out. Okay. 5S02. This is Obsidian, of course. Fox-eared point. I think that's what they call these, right? But it's just fox-eared is just the shape of the stem. The point itself, I don't know what it's called. It's probably just an art piece. I don't know if there are points like this in the archaeological record. Maybe the smaller ones, but of this size, I don't know. I'm just a flint napper. 3 1/8. I just nap this stuff. I don't know everything about the types. Okay. I try to get it thin. I think this is an 8-to-1 or 9-to-1 with the thickness ratio. 36 millimeter by was that 4 millimeter? Hold on a second. Yeah, 36 millimeter by 4 millimeter. So that's 9-to-1. Okay. Yeah, it's got kind of a gold sheen to it as well. Easy to thin down, but not easy to eliminate all the step fractures. Yeah. It does have a sheen to it, which is kind of cool. Anyway, I don't know what to call it. Alrighty. 5S03. 3 objects under this one item number. I did this one on video to show how I do the beveling. Okay. It's beveled on the left. They determine which side is right or left by putting the point upwards. And whatever side the beveling ends up on, that's what the side is. So this is a left-handed bevel. Yep, they point the point upward. And wherever the bevel ends up, that's the side. Okay. So these are all left-handed bevels on all these points. Off camera, I modified this stem a little bit to make it look more like a harden. But this is at the very low end, or the lower end in size for a harden, as far as the width of the stem. The length is fine, but the width, it should be wider for the average. It's low. It's the I looked in the book, and the smallest one matches this width here, so this is on the small end of the hardened type. Okay. This is a lost lake I made yesterday. I think it was yesterday. Yeah. And I used the Notch-O-Matic on the notches, but I went very, very slow. And it's really thick. So I had to use the file on this too to get it restarted because it stalls easily when it's this thick. Anyway, I put a bevel on here too. Left-handed bevel. This one, it's kind of hard to see the bevel on this material, but it is there. It is heat treated Mississippi gravel. All of these are heat treat Mississippi gravel. Okay, so that is the Lost Lake, and this one is the Bolen bevel. I put the bevel on there. Yep. All right, so what's the length on these? 2 3/4, a little bit more. 3 1/8, and 3 1/4. This one is 1 7/8 wide. Yeah, I think it's heat treated up to 350 to 400, somewhere in that range. I think. Don't quote me on that, but it is heat treat above 350 degrees, which is the usual. Yeah, my friend Randy gave me this stone, and he can't get any higher than 500, I think, something like that. Not sure. Anyways, it's not excessively heat treated. It still feels a little bit raw, but it naps well. Yeah. (5S04). This one is just a thin point. It looks like a big scalorn. I don't know what to call it, but it's made from heat treat, Texas heat treat. It's 2 5/8. I think this is like a 7:1 width to thickness ratio. 31 millimeter by it's between 4 and 5 millimeter thick. Okay. I just made a bunch of preforms this time around, and then I just napped something that I consider easy, relatively speaking. The corner notching is pretty easy for me. Side notching is pretty easy. The difficult notching for me is the basal notches. Okay, so it is translucent. It has that little pocket of something in the middle. It was starting to give me a little bit of trouble, but it didn't do much. It is inconsistent right in here in the middle, but it just, I don't know, by coincidence that little dot ended up in the middle, which is kind of cool. Alrighty. 5S05. This is a little Frio style point made of Texas heat treat. Yeah, I like this particular stem style, so I just quickly put in these notches. I think it was day before yesterday. So I thinned down these preforms and then I notch them later. So that's what I did on this one. I just notched it later with the style that I like. Okay. This one is a little bit over 2 3/8. What's the weight? I should weigh these. That would be smart. That means it's not good for me. 122 grains. What's the one previous? 162 grains. So this is 120. 120, 122. The next one coming up is going to be 122 also. All right. A little sneak peek on the next one coming up. All right, so there you go. Next one, 5S06. Another Frio base or stem. Same kind of width to thickness ratio. I try to get it thin. This one might be a little thinner than the other one. 32 millimeter by 8:1. Yeah. And like I said, this was 122, 124, Yeah, grains, not grams, but grains. This one is a Georgetownish type of chert, not heat treated. Yeah. Sharpened all the way around. Okay. And last but not least, 5S07. This is a box of broken bifaces, plus I threw in this knife I made. I made it a while ago, but it was not painted, and I didn't use real sinew. I used thread. So I took the thread off last night. I put real sinew on here. I re-glued it, and then I painted it red and black with red and black paint. This was more like a stain, but I just diluted the paint and did that. So what is the moral of the story on this one? This one, see how this point is very thick and there's no notches? I tried to half the thickest point I could onto this stick. So this is just a thick oval or teardrop shaped point hafted to a stick, in the way I would do it. Lots of glue in there, and then I wrapped over the top of all that glue, and then I made sure there's lots of wrapping underneath, so when it hits or when there's any kind of heavy use, it doesn't split the wood. I think this is elm wood. Yeah, these knots are opposite from each other, which is pretty typical. I think it is elm. Anyway, that tip is translucent. Translucent chert. Very crude. It was not high quality stuff. It is sharp though. It is jaggedy sharp. Okay, so that's the first item in here. This is a piece of black Texas chert that I napped a while ago, and I don't know what type it is. It has this weird rippling effect because it has layers in it. Inconsistency causes that rippling. Now I was going to make something out of it, like a knife or something, a modern knife, but I decided just to throw it in here with the broken bifaces. It's kind of a cool Texas chert. It might even have variation in color, but I don't know. I think it is a heat treat as well. It has been heat treated. I got this at a Knapping from one of my friends. And yeah, it's not cooperative, but it worked out okay. Yeah, it gets crunchy and it starts to dive and all that. Typical heat treat. All right, then we got some more little bifaces. Some of these are not broken. These are just a couple of bifaces. Raw. I think this is raw chert. Raw Texas chert. I broke this on video. I broke this off camera. This is a heat treat. I think it's Georgia Jasper. And just a variety of little broken things. This is basalt. This black material is basalt. This is ortho quartzite. I think I broke this one off camera, and this one off camera as well. You know, I did break this bigger one on camera. And these are all ortho quartzite, which means it's silicified sandstone. It's a sedimentary rock. Instead of being metamorphic, like most quartzites and stuff are metamorphic rocks, as far as I know. Anyway, chert is a sedimentary rock. Ortho quartzite sedimentary also. Alright, so there it is. This time it's just a smaller box. I think I'm going to start using these smaller boxes for my boxes of broken bifaces. Alright, there you go. Rules. These are my cheat notes. There's a better description of the auction in the description box below. There will be an auction every Monday. Yes, every Monday. See, it says right there. So hopefully you'll watch it until this point. If you can stand 15 minutes, then you'll know. Let's see. Please look at my previous auctions to see how they work. If you are not able to reply or comment, you will not be able to bid. I can, however, enter your bid for you if you email me or if you're having trouble. Now, I had trouble once last week with someone's comment that did not post. Now, some people saw it and some people didn't. It's much easier if no one sees it. Because a lot of you guys, you'll ask your friends, can you see it on your phone? And they'll say, yeah, but I can't see it. And guess who's the most important person looking at the auction? Yeah, you guessed it. If I can't see it, then your bid doesn't count. I'll try to make it up to you if we don't get it straightened out ahead of time, like if you don't know. But the easiest way for you to tell that I can see your comment is if I put a like on it. And here in the notes, I mentioned that. I will like your comment if I see it. If you don't see a like on your comment, either I don't see it or I haven't checked the auction. But as the time approaches the end of the auction, I check more often. And if it starts getting to the close of the auction, you don't have a like on your bid, that means I don't see it. And you can ask in the comment section, can you see my comment? Can you see my bid? And if your comments or your bids are not showing up, you're not going to get a response. So that's how you know I can't see it. Or sometimes I can see some of your comments and sometimes I can't. So I might say, yeah, I see your question, but I don't see your bid, the other one that seems to be missing. So bid again. That sort of thing. Make sure you keep track of what's going on in the comments section. That's the only way you know if I can see your bids or not. Okay? Look for the likes on your bid. I want to reemphasize that because not all people watch these cheat notes or the auction description. Auction 3J has a demo on how to bid. So you can type in Jack Crafty Auction 3J. It'll bring you to that auction video and then you can look for the demo if you need the demo. Bid in the comments section under one of my pre-populated comments. My pre-populated comments will contain the item number, a timestamp where the item appears in the video, and a short description. Bid under that. Don't just bid in the comments section. Look for the pre-populated comment that contains your item and then reply to that. Your reply is your bid. You put the price that you're bidding and the item number. That way, by some fluke, you didn't put it in the right spot. At least I know what item number you're bidding on. Make sure you have the item number in with your bid if you are not sure your bid is being placed in the right spot. Okay. And your bid is your comment or your reply. Okay, same thing. It may come up, please reply or reply here, or it could say comment. When you're navigating down in the comment section, some people get confused and they tell me, it didn't say comment, it only said reply, so I didn't comment. Okay, well the reply is the same thing as a comment. Okay, and the same thing as your bid. It's all the same. It's the same mechanism. It's the same thing. I don't know how to put it to make it simple. I will like your comment if I see it. Okay, this is the important part. Sometimes comments are not always visible. It may take a while for me to like your comment, but as the time approaches the end of the auction, I will check more frequently. Okay, I already been over that. Hopefully that's doubly clear now. Try not to bid at the last minute. Yeah. Please be aware that I'm using YouTube's time tracker and it's not always accurate. Yeah, that's the catch. You can bid at the last minute, but sometimes YouTube says you're late. And if YouTube says you're late, you're late. Even though you know you're on time and I know you're on time. Heck, I know you guys know how to tell time. But if YouTube says you're late, you're late. And your bid doesn't count. Okay? Let's see. Shipping is free in the US. Yeah. International shipping is discounted but not free. I will add $10 for a lightweight package and $20 for a heavy package if you are international winner. I will provide tracking numbers. I accept PayPal, which is my preferred method. I also accept Venmo, Cash App, checks or money orders, or a payment via electronic invoice. I can send you an invoice link, and you click on the link, and then you can pay. Okay, with a credit or debit card. Winners will be announced at 9:01 p.m. Eastern Time, but pay attention to your time zone because it's different for different time zones. The auction ends, or I will announce the winners starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I mean Central. Okay, let me start over. Winners will be announced at 9:01 p.m. Eastern Time, but it depends on your time zone. If you're on Central Time, it ends at 8 p.m. If you're on Mountain Time, it ends at 7. If you're on Pacific Time, it ends at 6. It is the auction. The auction ends at the top of the hour, but I wait 1 minute before I start announcing winners. Okay? You will be notified in the comment section if you are the winner. Please email me your info if you are new. Yeah, if you're new, never bid before, I need your info, like your real name, your address, and the method of payment, so I can write it in my notebook. If you've already done business with me, this is all redundant, and you don't have to send it. But if you're new, please email me. That's the only way we can communicate. I can't do private messages through YouTube. No one can. I'm not going to look for you on Facebook and remind you that you won or that kind of thing. Look in the comment section to see if you've won. I will reply to your winning bid with a little cut and paste little reply. Okay? Alrighty. So everyone clear on the time zones, I hope, and everyone's clear on what happens if no one sees your bid, or if I can't see your bid. Just ask, do you see my bid? And if you don't get a reply, I don't see it. If you do get a reply, I'm going to say, well, I see your question, but I don't see your bid. So then you try bidding again. All right? Okay. All right. Hope you guys had a good weekend. I know I did. And good luck.